Hi everyone, I'm so happy that you're here to join me for the Way of the Animal podcast. I think you had the idea for today's topic, did you?
So I'd thought about having a wee talk about faith. And faith as in trusting in your plan, in your ideas.
In yourself?
Yourself. Yeah, well, that brings me into that's kind of where I have a lot of faith, is in myself. Mm-hmm. And my ability to, do whatever or get things done. But yeah, it's that trust, that almost that following through of an activity or a pursuit to the end.
So like not giving up.
Yeah.
We talked about not like that giving up on things and
when things get difficult.
Yeah.
And it's been apparent for us with the whole immigration to Canada thing, because we've had issues with our immigration, and it's, you kind of get to that feeling. It's like, God, is this worth it? Is it worth going through all these uncertainties and difficulties in order to achieve the goal of
being where we want to be?
Being where we want to be. Wouldn't it just be easier to give up and go back to where we were?
Yeah.
And I think that trust, dedication, however you want to phrase it, that faith in your plan or and
what you
destination,
want to do.
Yeah,
just
what you want
to do.
Like, that's the big thing, and it comes into question.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting concept, because there's so many thoughts going through my mind that I'm like finding it hard to pluck them through. There was the thought of, that I think it's okay to give up, but also at times it's not okay to give up. And I know that you perhaps, I think I've had that feeling that you don't really like to give up. You have a bit more sort of that determination to
I don't like to give up. I'm happy to say that something doesn't serve me or isn't helpful or whatever, and step away from it, even though it was something that I thought I would go into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like to give up on something that I think I can do or I think I should do. And
then there's that sort of concept of the biggest challenges, like the idea that some of the hardest things that you work through, the biggest challenges you work through, my mind just completely lost the context of where I was going with that. Just means that you're just about to break through. It's like it's almost like
it's hardest just before the breakthrough.
Yeah, and there's that idea that it's like a test, and it's like a test of your faith of, do you really want this?
Yep.
And that's, I wonder, sometimes with all our challenges with the immigration, that shouldn't really have happened. They're very simple things that shouldn't really have happened, but it's whatever. Is like really testing. Well, do you just want to go back? Is it just that this isn't right?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Are you sure? And I think that's it. It's like some of the greatest challenges that we're faced with is to test whether it is you're heading towards what you really want. And then if you decide that it is what you really want, then you just keep working, you overcome the challenges. It actually makes me think of that. Remember the woman who did the talk on the Tony Robbins thing?
The one who did the makeup.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. I was thinking the same thing, but even more so, I think a lot of these sort of entrepreneurial stories come the same way, in that they have an idea or a vision or however they want to put it. They have their idea. They start working on it and it's hell and they're not getting anywhere, and years go by and it's the worst thing in the world. But there's something in them that says, I'm not quitting this. Yeah. And they risk everything. They go bankrupt. They get in so much debt that you can't possibly imagine they can get out of it. And then they come out the other side of it and everything goes the right way.
Yeah. It's really fascinating for me in, that idea of overcoming challenges. And it's like that, I kind of always try to link it back to a more natural state of less materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
So like a tribe or whatever hunting,
Mm-hmm.
like a large beast like the mammoths or something like that, and that's like seemed like an unsurmountable challenge. But when they managed to kill the mammoth, that fed them forever. It's just like that sort of concept of it was probably they lost some people in working towards understanding and getting to the point. It's just like understanding that challenges are normal.
Yeah. And it's that faith thing, that belief that it can be done. And sometimes people need to be shown it can be done, because that's the thing with the 3-minute mile. Mm-hmm. Was it 3-minute mile?
Yeah.
Where people were running and they couldn't, no one ever broke, I think it was 3 minutes.
Wait.
No one ever broke running a mile in 3 minutes, and then someone did, and then all of a sudden everyone gets faster and faster and faster and faster.
And that's that faith, like you say, the belief and the belief that you can do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, having had my own challenges, like even with getting a business off the ground, is that, I keep doing it in different ways, and to believe that it's still going to happen when at every turn it's not happening, it's like, that's, for me, mentally is a real challenge, is keeping that faith and belief in myself and what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
When the going's rough.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of my stubbornness as being a superpower at this point, because that sort of stubborn dedication to, no, I'm going to weather this storm and I'm going to keep going until I get through to the other side of it.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to lose the trust and the faith and the belief that you can get to the other side of it.
Well, it's like your whole world can be rocked and then you're kind of lost. You just
Yep.
It's like, I'm finding it hard to describe the feeling of it, but it's like that feeling of just hopelessness.
Yeah. Yep.
That can come over you. You're just like, well, what's the point? Because it just feels like you're just fighting and hitting against a brick wall. So to have the determination to keep going, makes me think of Rhoda, who was the Determination and Positivity podcast, I think, very, very early on, and to see where she's come and where she is now,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that for her, it just wasn't an option. And at times, it ran through her mind, you want to give up, but she's still at it,
That's it. That's the hardest thing, is the being faced with those thoughts. And I think that's the danger, is you get those thoughts, and if you for a moment start to contemplate them, then it just gets so much harder.
Yeah, and there's that idea of always focusing on the positivity of what is. But sometimes I think that also if you ignore them, they can grow.
Okay.
So I think there has to, for me, it feels like there has to be a little bit of a, okay, that's a fear, and then see if there's like something that you can. Yeah,
because like for me, I have the.
No, it's gonna work.
Yeah, that's it. It's the very firm. When the thought comes, it's the very firm. No, I'm not doing that.
But you're very good at compartmentalizing your brain, as in something like that. When you turn around and say no, will just be like, okay, it's shut down. It's not like you're shutting down your brain. It's just like, no, that's the end of that thought.
That's
we're
the
done
end of that
with
discussion.
It.
No, we're not doing that.
Whereas like it, for me, sometimes that can be a little seed that grows and gets bigger and stronger, because as much as I say no, I don't say it with the same conviction. I don't shut it down the same way. I don't say no, that it starts to bring in doubt and fear, and then that grows. So I think at some stage, like, I don't know right now how I'd look at it, or just like But where it's that awareness, isn't it? Awareness that's there and not holding on to it and not focusing on it.
I think the not focusing
and
on it's a
then
big
it's
thing.
like everything else will grow because you're putting your energy and attention on it. But it's like sometimes you can get lost in the process of trying to get to your goal, that, you know, it kind of you lose sight of your goal because you get so wrapped up in trying to.
But is that not sometimes just the goal kind of changes?
Well, yeah, they do.
Because they do develop and change. But what it makes me think of is The Secret. About, you know, visualizing and manifesting things. And I think I feel that quite a lot, in that if I focus on what I want and I stay focused on that, eventually I get there.
But what if you don't know what you want?
Well, that's a different topic.
And what if you feel like you know what you want and you're struggling to get it, and so you're wondering if you really want it? You know, that's that whole thing with the faith.
The
like
doubt.
how do you deal with?
Okay, yeah. So, well, what I was coming at was that if I focus on it, so that's why I want to shut down those doubts really quickly, because I feel like if I start thinking about them, I can start building on them. And if I start building on them, then I start creating them. And if I start creating them, then they happen. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I focus on the outcome I want, then I can make it happen. As for if I don't know where I want to go, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Because, I mean, I think what we're kind of looking at, or at least from my side, is the faith and the focus to stay on course.
And do you think then some of it is like, because I keep hearing in my head, you know, that it's like the fundamentals of it, and that's probably where I struggle, is that belief and trust in myself and my ability to attain what I want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
So whether I deserve it, you know, there's a whole other, whether I'm good enough, you know, there's a whole whole host of the doubts that come with that sort of feeling of whether I can attain what I want, because I don't feel like I'm good enough, you know.
So that is a whole thing.
But that's it though, isn't that the key though? Believing in yourself and your ability to get what you want.
I think so, yes. But I think when you start bringing in those, and that's the sort of the entertaining the ideas, the negative and the unhelpful thoughts, is the, you know, asking yourself the questions: am I worthy? Am I instantly? That's the, you're telling yourself that you don't deserve, or you shouldn't be able to get this. Or,
but that can be from long-seated traumas or life events that have created doubts within you about yourself.
And I think that's the sort of the breaking of the faith, the breaking of the belief that you can get these things. But that's something that doesn't come to my mind.
No, because you've worked through that, I think, at a younger age. That sort of, well, there's me, and I trust me, I can do me. Yeah,
well, that's, I said at the start, I have a very strong faith in what I can do. The worthy, the do I deserve sort of thing, that never enters my mind. Like, I don't think I do deserve, but I don't think I don't deserve. Like, it's just, that concept doesn't
whereas it does enter a lot for me.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes when it feels like it's not working out, so when I keep hitting all these challenges, it's like, well, maybe I'm just not that good a person, you know, maybe I just don't deserve to get what I want.
Okay.
And then I think that comes from scarcity mindset, the idea that only so many people can get what they want. Do you know what I mean? Like it's as you just sniffed at, that seems like a really ridiculous thing. And that's not even true. Like, even with materialistic resources like money and things like that, is like, we can pretend that there's not enough money, but it's just an energy, and money is also an energy as well, you know. So it's just, it's a really interesting concept to think that there's only so much to go around. Yeah. And that's just that scarcity mindset on the idea. So then you feel like you're not worthy of some of it because you might be taking it from someone else, or you feel like you haven't worked hard enough for it. You know, it's just,
Yeah, because my view of it is so simplistic. It's, I want to head in that direction.
I'm so jealous of your simplistic view.
So,
Mine's like, it's like when you open mine is like this, you talk about the can of worms. You just have this one worm like, hey, I'm good. You open mine, it's just like, pudding!
It's just my one brain cell's like, yes, we go do this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's why it makes really interesting content for the podcast, because like one approach is just like mental insanity. The other one's just like, yeah, we're good. Or maybe people who have like more my like design of way of being find your way total insanity. Because how can you be like that?
I mean, that's how I feel about your way.
I've been with you for so long, and it's just like, I'm so jealous.
Just to be clear, I'm not jealous of your crazy can of worms.
No?
No.
You don't want it?
No, thanks. I'm happy with my simple brain cell.
Makes life real interesting. Oh.
But yeah, because I just don't...
But you rub off on me, like
Yeah.
your ability to just be like, well, I can get what I want, and I just need to keep refocusing and having that determination. Like, I feel that, at times when my world has been rocked, I don't feel it at all, but it does come back,
I mean, I still have doubts, and I still have fears,
Yeah.
and I still, every now and again, question my direction. But at no point do I think that I'm not allowed it, or I can't get it if I want. Like, the want is what I question, is, do you really want this? And there's nothing wrong with going after something that you discover you don't really want. And this is where the giving up, I think, is the only time I ever think it's okay, is that I'm going after this thing. And you get so far down the road and you're like,
nah,
not really
it's
interested.
like, we've talked about it before, that lad, the Into the Wild, that was based on the book, where he got what he wanted but didn't realise it was what he wanted because he'd had this other goal in mind. And
that's it. And he pursued his goal stubbornly.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I don't want this. And he was unable to go back.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then that really leans into, like, I think as humans, we have to be very careful with goals and desires, because we can sometimes forget to live when we're reaching for them.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, like, again, we always talk about it. It's that life's about the journey, and not the destination. And I think in the journey, that's how you discover more truthfully what you want.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up changing direction, taking diversions, moving with what is the flow of what you want.
Yeah, I think you're dead right with that. And it's that thing of it's okay to change your mind. That's not really giving up. That's changing your destination. That's changing your goals. That's changing what you're striving for. Because you're honing in on what you really want. And to change that every day is fantastic.
Yeah, and you can only really know what you want by starting to experience what you don't want,
But like that sort of quotations giving up, which is a word I do not like, but that giving up because you've changed your target, that's not...
It's not giving up.
That's not giving up.
It's just taking a different path.
And it's perfectly okay to leave... In my mind, it's perfectly okay to leave things behind that you decide that I'm not really after that.
Yeah.
But you're still striving towards something else.
This isn't fulfilling me anymore, actually, and it happens a lot, I think, it happens throughout your life, but, it's like a lot of our society is driven towards, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And, as kids, it's crazy things or interesting things, and some, like, end up following it all the way through and loving it.
Yep.
And some, like, change their mind, and, never really settle, but they actually just enjoyed the journey of learning all the different things that they learned, and it didn't matter that they didn't reach a sort of goal. They just enjoyed life doing all the different things,
Yeah, that's it. It's so full of experiences at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing. And like I say, I just don't like the idea of giving up, because giving up to me suggests that it's, I want this thing, and then I'm going to stop trying to get it, but I still want it. But if you want it, keep trying.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there.
No, I know.
Doesn't ring really true at all, that.
But if you decide you don't want it, then that's absolutely fine.
Well, no, I don't want it. Double negative it.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's like the continuous sort of knockbacks, setbacks, difficulties, challenges, can get really tiring as well. Like to just keep standing up.
Just keep plodding on and just keep, that's it. The picking yourself back up and going again.
And then, you can sometimes lose that drive to want to, because it's almost that fear of the disappointment of it not working again. Of course, when you have that fear of the disappointment and you keep feeding that instead of shutting it down like you do and just be like, nope, no, you more often are disappointed.
Well, that's it. Especially once you've experienced it once, it's really easy to, on your second try, focus really hard on it.
Yeah.
And then kind of create it.
Yeah.
And then, all right, that didn't work again because of that thing. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'll try again. And I'm going to focus on
So what I've noticed as well is like you start half-assing the trying.
Yeah, that's it. I think at that point you have to say, well, do you really want this? Because, again, if you don't really want it, that's fine. But if you really want it, don't half-ass it. Go for everything and don't think about the negatives.
Yeah.
Don't focus in on that.
So easy to say.
It is.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's like it becomes that sort of, and I'm in this little middle ground with it, with my business, is this sort of fear of committing my energy and my time back into again, because it exhausted me because I wasn't reaching the outcomes that I wanted from it. And then don't put as much energy in. Of course, I'm never going to reach the outcomes that I want because you're not putting your whole self into it in that sort of manifesting way of feeling what you want and getting what you want,
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it is that not half-assing it and not being lazy about it and getting knocked down and getting back up, and still, whether you have to reapproach it slightly differently or change what you're doing, but not focusing in on the problems that you've encountered in the past, because you'll probably just encounter them again if you do. And this is a big belief that I have about the subconscious. I don't think your subconscious understands clearly what you want or what you tell it, unless you are crystal like.
Well, it's very literal, It's
it is. There can't be any ambiguity in it, and if you go into try and achieve your goals and try and work through it, and you're focusing in on this negative thing that did or might happen, your subconscious could quite easily be like, this is where we're heading, to this negative thing.
So you say it so simply, but how do you not how do you create that belief in yourself to really muster the energy to really...
I mean, I'm just commenting on what I see.
Okay. So you know what the problem is, but you don't know...
I think I see what the problem is, because this is the thing. My brain doesn't do that.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't do that in the slightest.
Like, with all that overthinking, zealous of a wonderfully crazy mind.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't know.
How do you overcome that?
So, you have a really, really difficult childhood. And, go through a whole lot of rubbish things, and then you end up like me. And
yeah, okay. Believing in yourself so wholeheartedly that...
Well, it's because you can't believe in anything else.
Yeah. I get that. Well, maybe I'll figure out eventually to be able to help other people with it too.
I'd love to be able to say, oh, it's real simple. You take this pill.
Honestly,
and then
it's probably not a pill thing, but it is actually really simple sometimes, and we are really good at making mountains out of molehills, especially with my type of mindset that I have, the overthinking, the sort of overanalyzing, the sort of, getting myself in a right mind mess over something.
I honestly think that visualization and sort of journaling, writing out in detail what you want.
Yeah.
Don't write down what you don't want.
Yeah.
Visualize what you want. Don't visualize what you don't want.
And do that it's almost like do that every day. Like,
do that
make
every
it
day.
part
Like,
of your routine.
If you struggle to get your brain to say, no, I don't want that. Yes, I want that.
So it's like you're reprogramming your mind. And even if it's just for like 5 minutes a day, that will create that energy, and then that will get like longer even without that writing. And it's just like, it's all like a reprogramming.
Exactly. And
defragmenting. And
from my things that I believe in, with hypnosis and things like that, is that if you can get yourself into that sort of meditative, suggestive state while you're doing it, then it's even more powerful for you.
And that time, your meditative, suggestive state is when you first wake up in the morning. And that's why they always talk about that, because you're not quite fully conscious. So your subconscious is still running the show a lot. So that's the time to bring in these things more than, like, meditation things help. But if you do meditation and visualization exactly when you wake up,
that's
so you go pee and then you do that.
Yep.
That's when you do it. You're most suggestive. And then because you do it then, you create that energy then.
Yep.
And then it will like tumble into your day.
Yeah.
And then, eventually it starts to wear off because you start to go into all the conscious stuff of the day. But there is that, you do it then and it starts to snowball, and actually it's easier then to go back to the energy because you can remember it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. And I think that's maybe the solution.
Well, I tell you what, it's a good start, isn't it? Because you start your day focusing on what you want.
Yeah.
And like, you don't even have to have big goals.
No.
So you could start your day focusing on how you want to feel that day.
Yep.
Throughout the day. And like there. Because if your struggles and your wants are, is I just want to feel better than I did yesterday, then start where you're at with what you've got.
That's it.
And then you'll start to feel into goals that you do want, and they can be just simple things, It
can be really simple.
It's like we've always talked about, those little steps, instead of thinking, well, I want to,
be
a millionaire, which is usually someone's grand dream. But
that's the thing with the hypnotic and the subconscious side of things. If you're trying to give someone a suggestion, if it is completely
believable.
If it's completely believable, then they pick it up really fast.
If it's unbelievable.
If it's like, no, that's not good. If it hits that critical thought of that's not going to work, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And some people could sit and go, I want $1 million, and it not even, there's no question, I know I'm going to get that.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Other people, it could be, I want $100.
Yeah.
And that's the limit to they could believe. I think I could make that. I think I can do that.
Yeah.
And I think probably with me, I do tend to do smaller steps.
Yeah.
In my thought process, I want this, and it's a small thing. And then, now I want this, and it's a small, I just do that, and that builds the whole.
And it makes sense. And in the way that my mindset works, it's very easy to get overwhelmed if things get too big too quick.
Yep.
Whereas actually, like, even doing that small step thing, I found you go, like, you do like first day, a little step, and then, 3 steps, and then it's like 100 steps, because suddenly your energy's changed and you're able to do it, and it happens. It can happen quite quickly.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's just like small steps for a very long time until you get to
the other great thing with the small steps is it reinforces that I can do it.
Yeah, because you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's always that thing, goal setting is very challenging because it's very easy to overwhelm yourself, and it's very easy to feel like you've failed. And so I've always talked about it's more about the intention behind the goal as well,
I think there's also an aspect of you're kind of made to feel like you should have lofty goals.
Yeah.
But
is it lofty goals, or is it there's a materialistic idea of goals, and then
I don't know. I think it's if you're if someone says, "So what goals do you have?" And it's like, I want to get up in the morning and feel a bit more energized about the day.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, wait, what? Like, that's a goal, like, what job do you want, or what money do you want,
but
what house do you want.
Materialistic.
That's
this
true.
is the thing.
Yeah, materialistic.
All those are materialistic, and the first goal that you said, the sort of wanting to be more energized, that's not materialistic. That's all about you and helping you to feel better. And, perhaps the job you choose to do and blah, blah, blah will help you feel more energized, but it's more about you and who you're being.
That won't help you feel energized.
Well, it depends. If the job that you do is something that brings you fulfillment.
That's true. But yeah, I think a lot of it needs to come from yourself for that side of things.
Yeah. I get. Yeah. And I feel like I'm on repeat, but I think at the moment it seems to be the crux of a lot of the human issue is the idea of materialism. And
it's just stuff.
Yeah. For me, like, that's been my biggest thing that I've really noticed is as a humanity that we've lost this connection to the more important things.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like, it's easy to get kind of,
like everyone does it because it's so ingrained from a very early age and from parents before. It's like it has become this human affliction of materialism.
Yeah. Well, that's what capitalism is. Yeah. It's getting better stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how our society is built on. You want to get the better stuff. Yeah. You want to get the new iPhone. You want to get the whatever the latest and newest thing is.
And then I find that people who really kind of become aware of who they are and how they're moving through the world, they're the people who just kind of go, hang on.
Yeah.
Do I really want that?
Does it bring me anything?
Yeah. Is it, and, I feel like that's been my journey for the last 10 years is learning more about what I really want.
Yeah. Honestly, it makes me think a little bit of the sort of minimalist lifestyle thing.
We've talked about it before, like that guy, does this bring me, was it joy he said, or does this bring me?
There was something like that. I think that was his caveat to, do I need this?
Yes, yeah.
Because I really like the idea of put everything in a box and just take it out as you need it.
Yeah.
And whatever you don't take out of that box in a year, you don't need.
Yeah.
And, our house is full of things that we don't need. But if you know what you need and how little it actually is in reality that you need, then it's really easy to be happy with what you've got because you've probably got more than you actually need.
Well, and I just find that what I need is time outside. Mm-hmm. What I need is time in nature. What I need is spending time with my dogs. What I need is spending time with you. And, none of the things that I have does that.
No, that's it. The only thing, and that's, I think, where money has a value, is that money gives you time.
Sure.
If you had 1 million...
But do you see the people with 1 million people using their time?
Oh, no, I don't. You see so many billionaires and things like that who work 18 hours a day.
Because they don't know what else to do, because they're meant to earn money. It's like, so it's just... I get it.
Generally, money...
Well, no, I think money gives you freedom.
Yeah, it gives you the ability to not have to do something, get someone else to do it,
I
to give you
also
time.
think if you can, like, our goals are very simple when it comes down to is we want to go back into, and I say back into because I feel like as a humanity we've lost this subsistence living, the self-sufficient living, and just being able to live off the land, and look after ourselves, and just do it in a way where, like, you don't need the money in the same way. That's not the goal. And money's useful and it's great. It means you can travel. It means you can see things. You can do different experiences, but you can also get a lot of that from just experiencing, being and doing.
It's one of those really interesting things, because the shift from a hunter-gatherer based people to what we are now, follows sort of agriculture. And then as agriculture became more prevalent, it needed less people to feed everyone. So then people had time to do these other things. And then you start developing arts, and you start developing science, and you start developing all these different things.
Which are good things.
Which are great things. where at that point then you're looking for the money to pay for the food, so I don't have to put the effort into that. You know, that was kind of how things developed. But then, I don't know, I feel like somewhere along the lines it got skewed.
Well, it's like that idea of maximum productivity, you know.
Yeah.
We're very strange. It's very strange to think that, you know, we overproduced and yet there's people who are starving.
Yep.
You know, it's just like I just feel like somewhere along the way, something went really wrong with humanity. And then, you know, at the moment, I feel like at the moment we're hitting it's a cataclysm. We're hitting this massive reset point. Like it's all going to break down and dissolve. And we're just going to have to ride out this storm, however it is, you know. And I think the way that we ride it out is we have a good look at ourselves individually and as communities rather than what the actual headwigs, is that the right word? No, the bigwigs are doing, which, you know, they're doing a lot and it's affecting everyone and there's no doubt about it. But it's like I think it's so important to look at ourselves and what are we doing and what are we following. And when I think
that's where the issue comes into it with and you know, they call it the rat race sort of thing. But it's that idea like the jobs gave you the money to buy the food, so you didn't have to spend the time on that. But then now you're trying to do as much as you can to get this next thing. So it's no longer is food the commodity that you're working hard for. It's
materialism.
It's an iPhone.
The consumerism is the idea of what
it's the
idea of what you think will bring you joy.
Yes, that's it.
And yeah.
And you know, buying a printer never brought anyone joy.
Oh my God. It would be handy sometimes to have a printer, but I just do not want one in my life.
They're evil.
They are. Well, so we'll end on that. Printers are evil.
Well, we kind of strayed away from the faith and the belief.
No, we didn't. We went on a segue, and that was an important segue on you know, understanding ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So. And if I ever work out how it is that you just say no to the bad things and just stay focused on the good, then...
Well, I think the funniest thing is I feel like I have all those answers within me, but, you know, one of the greatest things is that resistance to changing. And we've talked about it, you know, the comfort zone. It's like, I am really, really uncomfortable in this comfortable place.
Yeah, I'm comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, so, you know, making that next step that seems like a giant leap, but it's actually just a little step into whatever, I'll just stay here feeling really uncomfortable and miserable where I am, thank you, you know, and I'll just give up, you know.
Yep, that's it. I'm not going to strive for this better thing. I'll just stay here because, you know.
Whatever. It's easier to be here even though it's really awful. Yeah. So it's that whole thing, actually, I know how to do it. I know all the answers, but I'm just resisting doing it. And that's that subconscious trying to keep me safe.
Yep.
All I'm doing is trying to look after myself, and I think it's very easy to turn on yourself when you're in that state, and that then means you're not believing in yourself. You're not showing compassion to yourself, and when you start doing that, then you are inviting other people to not show compassion to you, to not believe in you, to not have faith in you. And when you're trying to launch a business like me, then people are not going to have faith in what I do because I don't have faith in myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's a whole thing.
Having faith and belief in yourself and accepting yourself and loving yourself, like, they're big asks for a lot of people.
But they're the fun. I think they're foundation of
They're the foundations for
life.
Everything. I mean, I know for a fact that you've struggled at times to like yourself.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, even like in the slightest, just never mind love yourself.
No,
like
I don't like, no. In fact, the words I would have used is I hate myself.
Yep. And
I don't think I'm alone in that. You know, not that everyone hates me. I mean, that I don't think I'm alone in that I'm not the only one that says that. But that's like, how? You've only got you. How can you hate yourself? But that's what a muddled mess you can get yourself into.
That's it. And when you're in that frame of mind, you're never going to get anywhere.
Anything. No.
Because every time you start to try and believe in something better.
Yeah. And then because it's that whole thing, external, internal.
Mm-hmm.
So you think if you change the external, it will fix the internal. But it starts with the internal and then the external changes, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that idea of, well, I'll be happy if I go move there, change this job, move there, do that. But, you know, having moved across the world, you know, I'm not any happier here than I'm there. What I need to do is be happy with myself, and then I can sort that, you know, it's just like...
And that's where I have I know I'm not the best. I know that I'm not great at a lot of things. But if this is my best, then there's nothing more. Yeah. Even if my best tomorrow is better, there's still nothing more that I can give, and I'm quite content then to be that way.
Yeah, interesting.
It's real easy. You just need to
believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself.
And show yourself compassion.
Yeah.
Don't turn on yourself.
Well, you don't need to show yourself compassion when you believe in yourself. Because there's
because sometimes you have moments where you like have little slip-ups or you make mistakes, and like it's very easy to start like turning on yourself, especially if it's been a habit before.
So yeah, I suppose that's the thing. So I don't get that one.
Yeah, because you haven't had the habit to break the habit. It's the reprogramming, you know.
When I mess up or make a mistake or do something stupid, like it's over. I don't think about it again.
Yes, I know.
I just continue.
Yeah, you're magical. What can I say?
My one little worm doesn't get all tangled up about it. It's just like, what?
It just creates some more for me.
yeah. Yours just multiply.
Yeah.
Mine's like
more complex ones that like cause even more deep-seated problems within my psyche. Yep.
Mine's like the cheap robot Hoover that just keeps bouncing into things. Like, nope. No,
that doesn't work. No.
Just keep going.
Hey, free ride now. We're free. Yeah, I can move.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
At no point does it think that going forwards is a bad idea.
No, mine would be like, bump. Oh, well, I give up.
Yeah, yours would just sit there and then smoke would start coming out of it as it was trying to work out what to do next.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd just be bashing into everything.
Which is the right step. Well, you know, if you're not doing anything, any step's a step, so do it.
That's it.
But it is so amazing how... you know, how you can get in such a muddle, and then it ends up like it just, like we said, it just like grows and grows into just such a mess that you're just in this fog you can't see your way out of.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah. I hope there's other people out there who understands what it's like to be me. But then everyone's individual, so it won't be the same. But surely there's people it's relatable to. Cause
yeah, you just get stuck with me. You know, I don't understand why you can't just...
It's very inspiring. It can also be very disheartening. And then when you're really struggling, it freaks me out.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. I think we'll leave it there.
I think so.
Thank you.
It was good fun.